Lord.
All right. Yeah, it's just like, it's like before.
It's official.
That's right. It's official.
It's official. Blow the whistle.
Official. Oh. Okay, perfect. So welcome to the show, ladies. We're so happy to have you guys here, including with some spirits in the room as well, but, you know, virtually.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God, it's so good to be here.
Yes, we're excited.
Yes, long awaited. This is so
exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. For those of you listening, we've been trying to record this episode since May, and just because of all our scheduling conflicts, Kate and I have both been in classes outside of this. The ladies on this fantastic podcast also had lives and 80 million things going on, and we are finally sitting down this evening and so excited to talk to you guys about these.
Yes, we're excited. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, it's one of our favorite things, so we're very glad to have you guys here. Welcome, welcome. So before we get into the episode and all the exciting, juicy stuff, we want to get into some other juicy stuff, which is your podcast.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about it. How and when did you guys get started? How did the idea spark?
Okay, so the idea sparked from, oh my gosh, me and Danny's have been talking about this podcast for years, like several years. We always loved music, but then we just thought about, hey, let's do a podcast. Mm-hmm. And from then, since the COVID happened in 2020, we said, hey, why not start it now? We have time. So we're in the house. We're not doing nothing else. So we decided.
House.
We just really were dedicated to it, and we were really working each month. And then July 2020, we decided to get it popping, and that came out with the OOUUPod, which stands for Overly Obsessed, Unsung, and Underground. So
I love that name, by the way. When she was talking about you guys, and this was like, I feel like in the fall, like maybe it wasn't that long ago, and she told me what your guys' name, I don't even know that's grammatically correct.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Your name, like the podcast name stood for, I was like, oh my God, I love that.
Yeah.
Like, it's so cute written out, and the name when you say it's just awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes, and it actually came to Danny's in a dream, so we had to do it. We just had to do it.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Told me about that.
Yeah.
Danny and I met on I want to say it's like a community board, but it's basically just Facebook groups for podcasters. And then just kind of hit it off from there. And I was like, I know we have to do an episode with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like from our like couple of reviews or like interactions, like I feel like we have like a little bond. I'm so excited.
We do.
It's amazing. No,
Yeah,
seriously. I feel like I've known y'all for years.
Yeah. How
Look at
far
the
we
situation.
are. I know, it's so cute. I love it. I love
awesome.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
sure.
anyways, continue.
No, and that's like the perfect segue, because that was the other thing. I know that you guys are also best friends. So How long have you guys been friends? And is this your first project together?
Yeah, so we've been friends since I want to say the 7th grade, right? So we're 35. So y'all do the math. Again, I don't
we'll let the
know.
listeners do it. I don't do the maths.
I think it's 20 plus, maybe.
It's 20 plus.
20
It
plus.
has to be old enough to drink.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
A whole drinking age. Yeah. So, yes, but this is actually, our first project together, besides men.
Girl, and they are. Oh my God.
We have a whole playlist. Yes. That's a
I think we should
whole
also,
track.
yes, we should all branch up. We'll like have our own, we'll branch off from our independent podcast, and we'll like just have one four-way of like what our relationships with men are like.
I think it will be a whole season. episode because
yeah,
it'll be a soundtrack, a playlist. Yeah.
It'll be like the view without being bitter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For the view.
Definitely.
I liked
that's great. That's great. I liked you at one point.
I feel like I make really bold statements. It's this denim jacket that I want to point out everyone's wearing.
And that's why
we're so amazing.
Oh, you made it.
Yes. Impromptu for sure. But we love it. We love to see it because we're best friends too. So we feel those vibes. We feel those vibes. But I guess through the years, of all the projects you guys could do, what made you guys choose this one? Which I know we've talked to you guys about it. You're super passionate about music, but that specific idea.
Yeah, it's like music is a part of our everyday life. So it's like basically, why not? And that's mainly when me and Danny became best friends. Matter of fact, we were listening to music, which was funny. And, every time that we get on the phone, we are passionate and very excited about new music that's coming out. Also with underground artists, we love, so we're like, oh no, we don't want them to go to the mainstream, but we do want them to go to mainstream, but then we don't. But we just love music. We love it. So that's what really is our passion.
Just a side question. I was talking to a couple of my Kate Wakefield and my friends who are really into they've been in a zillion bands and stuff, but as far as bands that make it and don't, total side note, but do you guys feel like a lot of the bands that and you're friends with or whatever, when they make it, do you feel like they still hold the integrity of their band or their musical collaboration, or do you feel like that they try to do more mainstream stuff?
We've seen different, sides. There are, it really just depends on the group and the team or the band. We've seen some, friends that were passionate about music and then they created bands, and then, when they started becoming really popular and people started seeing how good they were, then eventually things got to their head. They split up. When they started, it was all about just for the love of music, but then it became for the love of fame, and money. So it can be different. And then we see, even some solo artists that have never changed, it's just or groups that have never changed. And we love them all because at the end of the day, it's still about the art, and that's just their journey. But yeah, we've seen both sides of it for sure.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. I think it's an interesting thing that a lot of people don't openly talk about because they're afraid they're gonna especially with someone who's having a podcast that they're talking about music and stuff, they're afraid to talk about it to insult someone. But I think it's an important thing to talk about, and it liberates both sides. So if you're feeling like you need to excel in your career, but if someone's going no, dude, you don't necessarily have to do it for that, or if someone who isn't doing it and maybe they're feeling lesser than, I'm saying this all simply freshly coming off talking to a friend of mine who were talking about a lot of bands that we made it or didn't, but I think that's really refreshing.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna say
it's cool. It's cool, and
it's funny you say
a
that.
great platform for that.
Yeah, and we actually covered that topic for our season 1. Now we're in season 3. We usually have between 19 and 20 for each episode, but in season 1, I think we did episode. It was revolved around or involved with Amarion specifically, but we talked about groups specifically. So for all the listeners, go check out our season 1.
Yes.
But we did.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Was that okay? So, and of course, one of our favorite questions: who's your favorite artist right now? Actually, I'm going to say right now and of all time, because it can be both. It can be two separate things. Yes,
that is so hard. I can never do it. Dennis, you go first because mine, no. I always have so many.
Right?
I can't narrow it down.
I think I can answer that. So
You're like, I love how like you're like, I actually know all the answers that I'm feeling. I love that. You guys have like the perfect dynamic. It is so freaking cute. It's like us, but like in a different way. Like I love it. That's what makes it like really interesting to talk to you guys.
So who am I
Yes.
compared to you guys? Like who am I? Who am I?
Which person is kookier?
Perrida,
It's
for
probably
sure.
me. It's probably me.
You're Kait.
I'm
Yeah.
that, but I know.
That's what I was getting ready to say. I said, yeah, we're the
Are you okay with that? I mean, I think we're all a little kooky and we have good personalities, but yeah, like I'm like not even now, but like Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but that's me too. So I'll take that. I'll take it.
And it's saying a lot because I'm pretty weird to call her kooky. So that's what
I think we're all a little kooky. I love it. I love our relationship. Okay, we're gonna
focus.
Okay, focus.
Okay.
Go ahead, Danny.
Yes.
Answer it. You gotta answer.
Okay, so my favorite artist of all time, believe it or not, which a lot of people will not necessarily think this is like a great artist, but I love Faith Evans.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Faith Evans.
Who is Faith Evans?
Faith Evans is from New Jersey, born and bred, but she was a part of Bad Boy. This was like Notorious B.I.G.'s wife. She had blonde hair at one point, but she sang. What's she known for? You know the song that be like, no. What's it? Oh, love you like this before.
Yes.
You don't know that song?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm trying.
Okay. Okay. So remember when Biggie died and they did a tribute song from Sting, and it's I'll be missing you. She was the one singing on the hook. She was inspired by like the Clark sisters and gospel and stuff like that. So like when you really are giving props, it's like you should go back. Like so, if I really want to say of all time, I probably would say the Clark sisters, to be honest. But,
and that parallels really well. So true. Yeah. So true. Because you can hear all those influences in Faith Evans. So yeah.
You mentioned this a lot. Do you feel like you specifically? Do you feel like that gospel music has inspired you with your like music? Not in this podcast, but prior talking. Do you feel like gospel music has really influenced your musical background and what you love?
Absolutely. And I'm like, I didn't even grow up in church. But like it's the singers, they can sing, y'all. Like when
they bring the chills to you, that's when you know that person can sing.
And all of those elements in rock and R&B since the 60s. I mean, you had major artists like Ray Charles, who was really bringing church to mainstream music, and called him blasphemous because he was doing something radical when really he was introducing a whole new audience to a sound that they might not have gotten the opportunity to hear.
Exactly.
If they didn't grow up in or around or near like Black churches. So
I just thought about this. I haven't thought about this memory since I was a kid, but my babysitter took us to a gospel church in Arizona, which seems just like super weird to me now to think about it like that, but I don't know. It just seems really weird.
They used to have like Pentecostals go heavy through the desert.
Yeah, as a kid,
they really did.
As a kid, I was so little. I don't think and now it just seems like a weird setting. But anyways, I remember I was so excited. Like that was like my first time really seeing live music. Like thinking about it. Yeah. Sure. I mean, I was little. I was like
8. Wow.
8.
Wow.
Yeah, my babysitter was like all about it. We went twice a day.
Oh,
wow.
And my friend Alita and I was so cute, and we would dance.
I can only imagine you in Deleted.
Probably directed her doing something too.
Probably. I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna do like a spin, and then tap on the hands and no, but like that memory just now came to me. I love that. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
that is awesome. Yes,
I mean, I'm like really torn because I love, okay, I got 3, I'm sorry. I love Patti LaBelle.
Yes.
So, I love Patti LaBelle.
Oh,
I love Anita Baker, and I love Toni Braxton. And I love Chris Brown. So those
You
are 4.
cheating.
I can't do one. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's just, yeah, I just love them.
Oh,
No,
I
those are
love
great.
all those. Yeah. I mean, mine's a cheat too.
See, I
Right.
can't just do one. It's not fair. It's not fair.
Because you can't, it's like once I think I start, like, because then I separate into like solo artists and then like bands, and then like, no.
Yeah.
But I mean, all-time favorite, Earth, Wind, and Fire. I probably do it by genre too. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yeah.
And then like when you think about, like,
I get it.
because I love Jamiroquai.
You know what's weird is when someone says their favorite like musical group, you never think like, oh, I've never listened to that with them. But it's like, does it mean that someone who's your favorite means you listen to them all the time?
True.
Ooh.
True. But I
Well,
do a lot of them for karaoke too.
That
So
is
you
true.
try, yeah.
Which is why we're gonna do karaoke together.
Yes.
Not much
Amazing.
And then it's like I have Missy Elliott and Anita Baker and Tony. Yeah, I know. So it was just like,
I love this.
I also grew up loving the alto singers too.
Yes.
Soprano.
Yes.
I love Toni Braxton and I love
Yes.
Anita Baker. Anita Baker
Yes.
caused so many problems in my household because my dad loved her. And his dad, I totally have to tell this story. I'm so sorry. Because this is the funniest thing, but we went to the Ohio State Fair when I was really, really teeny, and apparently Anita was performing. And so they go and see it. And my mom says he like just acts a fool, right? Like he totally forgets about everything. Yeah. And is just focused on her singing, right? Just totally there. So she gets mad and takes me and leaves him there. And he
at the Ohio State Fair. This is a huge fair. I want everyone to know this is like leaving someone at.
Like, you want to talk about the pettiest thing. My mom was like, oh, okay. I mean, he taped over part of my Sesame Street video, though, with one of her music videos. So he must have been pretty.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Aren't that important?
I mean, I'm just sitting here watching Ernie and Bert, and then Sweet Love starts playing. I was like, ha! Yeah! Like, screaming, like, what?
I mean,
So, yeah.
No way.
Yeah, it was a Anita Baker household, begrudgingly, but my dad and I, yes.
Yes.
I know that's right. Oh, that is hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
Anita needs to hear that.
Okay.
Okay.
She does, because I wanted to see her when she had a few dates before COVID, and she had one in Chicago that I really wanted to go see. And our friend Chris, who went to see her, like his stories, I was like, oh
Chris
my God.
Can? Who Chris? Sorry.
Rap artist.
Oh,
Chris Craig.
Chris Craig.
Yeah, he went to see her, and I was like, I'm so jealous.
Yeah,
my girl. I was like,
I've seen her for the first time at I went to the New Orleans Jazz Festival, and she was headlining there. It was so amazing.
I'm so jealous.
Didn't get that invite.
Yes, you did.
She's like, it's champagne.
You
I was there.
You was there, but you didn't
I
go to the
came a day
festival.
late. I came a day late. That's what it was.
See what I'm saying? You could have seen Anita.
I didn't get the invite.
I was a day late. I was a day. I love that. Like you can check yourself, but you're also like, okay. I was a day late.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're gonna take
I'm not heartbreaking. It's my turn.
Oh,
So my favorite music.
Look right.
I forgot you hadn't shared yours. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Break.
I was trying to do an editing break, and she was like, no.
You edit in a second. So what I want to say is, because I was thinking of the karaoke notion.
Oh yeah, sure.
One of my favorite musical groups is the Dixie Chicks, but I love their cover of
I love them.
Landslide that we sing for karaoke But I feel like the Dixie Chicks have done a lot of covers that they have coined as their own, and people only recognize them as their own music. But I love the Dixie Chicks. I know they have a lot of like background that's controversial, but I don't care, and I don't think most people really like them anymore. Cares about that? But
I still like the Dixie Chicks.
Yeah, me too.
Oh yeah. So before we get into the second half of the show, we want to give a few shout outs.
Yes! And that's a huge shout out to all of our listeners. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button on Apple Podcasts.
Hit it.
Make sure you stop by realculture.com.
Hear from our bevy of badass women in the industry, covering an assortment of topics in film, television, radio, theater, and more. That's www.realculture.com. All right, and welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to hop into some of our favorite soundtracks of all time, just to hop right into our conversation. We, of course, have the OOUUPodcast. I just love saying it like that.
I know.
It's so annoying. Podcast with us to talk about movie soundtracks and how they've left these indelible impressions on their life and their love of music. Who wants to dive into their favorite title? Because I see, of course, I'm just going to name them off really quickly for everybody at home, and then we'll just dive into them. We have The Sound of Music, The Bodyguard, Sister Act 2, and Kill Bill Volume 1. And we can start anywhere you like, ladies. Anywhere you like.
Go ahead, Ree.
You want me to start off? Okay. Yeah. So I'll start off with The Sound of Music. One of my definitely favorite, oh my God, soundtracks of all time. I can still sing each song to this day.
What's your favorite scene?
Everybody should know the Doe, a deer,
a female deer.
Yes. You know, like, it's just, I don't know. When I was little, I just loved it. The hills, I don't want to say, okay, but
yeah. What's your favorite? Like the picture of it, of the whole movie with the soundtrack. What's your favorite part?
Oh, like favorite scene?
Yeah, with the music. Like, what's your?
Oh my God, I'm the wrong person to ask about what's my favorite, because I have so many favorite scenes in that movie.
Yeah,
my favorite. Well, I'll just give you one of my favorites. My favorite is the beginning when she's running up the hill and you see her just running and she's just singing what I was just singing just a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
and you can just feel it. Like, you're like, oh, what is getting ready to happen? Like, and it just feels amazing. And then, this happened in 1965. So this is when this soundtrack was released, and it was RCA's #1 soundtrack. So it was like, it was a big deal. I know, I love it. I still can watch it.
Crazy popular, and to think about what was going on that year and how big that blew up. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of before its time a little bit in a lot of ways, I think.
Yes.
But I have to add, I always thought, like, why was it so special to us when we were so young? But thinking about the writers is, there's Rogers and Hammerstein, I believe, and they're the same, people that did the Disney movie. What is it, Cinderella? And stuff. So the melodies and everything were just so familiar to us. So when I think this is the first time we've seen live people and not a cartoon and still get that same nostalgic feeling.
And you're right, because Rodgers and Hammerstein was like part of the great, or I should say is part of the great American songbook. Like you're totally right, Danny. It's like it's the music of America, and everybody remembers it. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think
a certain time and place. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
I think that I Am 16 going on 17 for me. That song really played, because I we all watched it probably from different time period, like in our life. And that song for me, like that whole scene with her in the gazebo and stuff, like really kind of like touched me as a teenager and like helped me grow in a really weird, strange way. And in an innocent way. Now
Yeah.
you could be like, that's a little weird, but you know. Oh,
That was my song.
yeah, I love that song.
Going on 17.
Girl, we wasn't nothing but like 7.
Right, but I loved it. Was like it the movie just fit perfectly, and then the music was just, I just loved it. I love the sound of music.
Yeah, it was for me it was Edelweiss. I think 'cause it was just so sad. Yeah. I know. It's one of my favorite. It's one of my favorite Christmas songs. It is. Wait, why is that funny?
Because I'm me. Just ignore.
Okay, never mind. I don't want to know.
No, I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny because you said it was so sad, but the tone in which you said it was so hype. So it was like a contradiction. It was like
I didn't want to say anything, and I was like, yeah.
I just want to reiterate the heat and the alcohol in this room. Okay, makes me delirious.
We have literally this much wine.
Yeah.
So, but the heat in this room is.
Oh my god.
We need to get air conditioning in here.
If we're a little delusional, that's why.
Edit all that out.
Oh, no. That was sadly probably one of our most popular episodes when we were delusional right at the height of COVID and had to record in the heat.
But anyways, so
was Edelweiss, because it was. I think the whole movie, it's like this family who's going through turmoil, like trying to not be a part of the Nazi movement. It's like finding joy in singing, and this song at I think at the point of the film was just, well, they sang it 2 different times, but that one time where it's like they knew they were going to run and this was their way to say bye to everybody who didn't know it, that got me. I looked at it, like, okay.
I think children aren't as scarred by life as adults, and so really we do take good music into our brains. Maybe there's more eloquent way of putting it, but I'm just being rough.
They're resourceful.
No.
Yeah, and you hear music and you're like, that's pretty, and you're a kid. I don't know how many times you guys did this, but I was like, that's pretty, Mom, and I'm like flailing around in the living room. Mostly yeah. With Funny Girl, Barbara Streisand. That was my favorite.
Oh my God. This girl and Barbara Streisand. She loves her some Barbara Streisand.
My Fair Lady.
Oh yeah, that's a great one too.
Those, as a little girl, and I knew I didn't know anything about either of those stories.
Well, half of our favorites are musicals. So clearly.
The sound of music, I feel like for all of us, it probably makes sense. So we were little, but we took in, if we can appreciate music as adults, we were taking it in when we were younger and appreciating it on a level that we weren't conscious of.
Right.
You're very right. Yeah. And I will say this is why my favorite song, believe it or not, is the prelude in the overture, where it's like no words, no singing. It's just the music,
Yes. And then it builds in the climb every mountain, girl.
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. The verses are the best. That's true.
I love it.
Because could nobody tell that nun anything? She sang that song. She did. This is my song, and I'm singing it.
And I'm going to sing
climb that mountain.
Yep. Yes. Then it takes us to the one with the next nuns.
Yes.
Which is your favorite, Danny?
That's my favorite, girl.
So, speaking of nuns, what about Sister Act?
That's probably one of the cleanest segues.
Perrida is famous for a segue. Lord Jesus. She was like, speaking of.
We're the worst, and we love it.
Yeah,
pointing out segues.
Look at how good she knew that I needed more wine. I love you. Oh, wait, you were moving.
I can't see this. I'm hot, but I'm not that hot. All right, so Sister Act, we had a lot of good conversations about this, ladies.
Yes. Oh God, where do I begin? So Sister Act is I think just in general just a great movie because Whoopi Goldberg, the great comedian, was there, and she was, for me, to see a Black woman that was hella funny and just so relatable and cool and like a blockbuster film. I had, I admired that. But then it was like going back before when we talked about like my favorite artists of all time, like that was my first time seeing gospel music used in a film or used in general, but in a like relatable way. So like where we're listening to R&B and hip hop and they were taking those elements and putting it into, gospel. So I just fell in love with it and watched it over and over. It's like one of those like films, like those top films was like everybody should see that. Everybody should know. You know what I'm saying?
Our conversation is that people slept on it. How brilliant it is. Because it started a whole new movement of like gospel becoming or feeling more secular.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So all these careers blew up.
Everybody. And to think that, remember when Lauryn Hill, when she was on Apollo, she was booed. She was booed off the stage.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like.
She was a baby when that happened.
Okay, so.
Yeah, she was like 12 or 13.
Retell that story because you told that to me, and I feel like everyone needs to know this because I didn't know this before you said it.
Yeah, so she was on Apollo. Lauryn Hill went on there. Of course, she went on there and everybody, she was introducing herself. Like, hey, this is Lauryn Hill. She rubbed a little tree. She did all that and, went up there and sung a song. I think it was I think it was a gospel song if I'm not mistaken, what she was singing. I'm not sure. I don't remember.
So, I haven't years though.
Yeah, it's been a long time. But she sung it and she got out there and she was singing. She was doing good at first, but I guess her voice started cracking. She's young, so the audience started booing. And I mean, they were booing. So like, she just kept on singing. She kept on singing. And she ended up getting off of there.
Yeah, but the irony was that she went back to the Apollo as a recording artist in the group Fugees.
Yeah.
And she had the crowd standing, when she was flowing and she was rapping and singing. So like full circle, which is super dope.
And then at that time, she was 16. So 3 years later.
So lots of growth between that. And I guess it'll kind of, and it's hard, I guess, when you start out that young, but kind of having that that shake up early, it either motivates you to go above and beyond, or you're like, whoa, this is not for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's probably why now, she take her time coming on stage.
Yes. 2 days later, she come out talking about and I would wait.
You're going to wait. You're going to wait for me. That's
I think there's an amount of grace. Like, no, for sure. Like, I know this is like a stupid thing to say, but as someone who's done acting for a long time, and like, you get turned down and turned down and turned down and turned down, and there's a certain point where like, a couple of projects I've been on, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to take my time with this because I haven't been able to take my time. So now I'm going to take my time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's really in a selfish way, but like, I get it.
Yeah.
It's not really comparable to Lauryn Hill, but I get the sentiment.
No, that's very.
Yeah. And I didn't even realize. I feel like she should actually be one of my favorite of all times too. Now that I think about it, because I was telling you ladies before, also watching the film, I wanted to be a singer when I was younger. So seeing this movie, there was a part in there where they were singing Eyes on the Sparrow beautifully. And that was, I used to study their rendition so much. And that was my first time ever singing for someone. Like singing that. Yes.
And the thing that y'all don't know about Danny.
At church after that movie.
And what I was getting ready to say is the thing that y'all don't know about Danny's is that she really can sing for real. Like for real.
You know you my bestie for real.
Yeah, she can really sing. Like
my
really.
voice don't sound nothing like it used to. Y'all.
Girl, you and me both.
So yeah, but that film was amazing.
So the Bodyguard being another big favorite.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
Definitely.
I gotta turn the light on. Hold on.
Oh.
Yeah, because you're right. That's like 3. You're right. Bodyguard. It's not a musical, but it's a musical, or at least I think of it as a musical. Is that weird?
It's a soundtrack.
Well, I think of it as a musical too, because it definitely came from, Whitney Houston, of course, who's amazing. I love Whitney.
Yes.
And for her to just, she just sung her whole album. Basically, that's how I felt. She sung her whole album, and that film was just, I just loved it. I just loved it. I loved everything about it. She broke hits. She just did. I loved it.
Because I was too young to really be watching that movie, but did I beg my mom to take me to see Whitney? Yeah, that's all I needed.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I love Whitney. I used to always perform at every one of my birthday parties. I had to sing Whitney Houston. It had to be one of her songs off her album, I'm Whitney. You guys are going to do backup. And yes, we're going to sing Whitney because she's amazing.
Yeah. It was either me coming up. It was either a Whitney Houston song, SWV.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Or
SWV was on.
Sisters with Voices.
Mm-hmm.
And In Vogue.
They
I was
did-
obsessed.
Oh yeah.
Obsessed.
Oh yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
See, The Bodyguard, that movie won a Grammy.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it won a Grammy. So it was like the performance, the soundtrack. Come on.
I saw that basically as like a concert, honestly.
Yeah.
With the
Mhm.
held it together. That's how I saw that film in my mind, because it was so
She did that.
and that was really the thing. Not that Whitney wasn't ever a superstar, but that really
It took her over the top.
into superstardom.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true.
It took
I didn't
her
even
over the
think
top.
of it like that, but it did. Yeah.
It did. Because did you see her headgear? Did you see her outfits? She made it to that point where she was that person. She was a star. You couldn't mess with Whitney. Couldn't nobody mess with Whitney?
Yeah, because it was so edgy. It was at that point, what she was presenting was so Janet Jackson or Madonna.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
She was coming with that edge. She wasn't
was.
anymore. I want to dance with somebody with bubblegum pink, and she's like, oh, wait a minute.
Yes. And then the Queen of the Nile. Come on now. She took you there.
She took it.
Yeah.
She took
Iconic.
it. Cinderella should have been another honorable mention too, with Brandy and the two of them.
Yes.
Disney version of
Cinderella.
Yes.
The live
And
action Disney.
they're making a new one. That's
Listen, I gotta ask y'all a question real quick. Do y'all get tired of them remaking stuff? I know I'm tired. Are y'all tired?
I'm so tired.
I
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Don't.
Leave it alone.
I agree. Most of them are probably good, but there's
You got me with that one, Perrida. I got my feelings real quick.
Me too. I'm sick of it. Please. I'm sick of it. I'm just sick of these videos.
That made me hot. I'm sick.
Yes.
I'm hot to death over them remaking stuff because they're bored.
Yes.
Find a new story.
We're not moving on from The Bodyguard, but I will say Cruella, which they've remade 101 Dalmatians, and they've done with Glenn Close playing.
Yeah.
And Cruella just killed it with soundtrack. Because it wasn't like traditional, what you're saying. It wasn't like a traditional Disney musical where they had some of those elements that it was almost like a shot-for-shot remake like Aladdin was,
Right.
I think they really took their time to rework the story, because Disney has been doing a lot where they're trying to make amends for all their sexist, racist, whatever isms.
Yes.
So
And they have the money to clear the isms.
That's right. Because we keep giving them all our money.
And I'm okay
Yes.
as long as they do their isms.
And So this one I thought was their best iteration of taking a story that made a villain relatable.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Is
when
that the same like they did the Joker? They try to make the Joker relatable. Like they did that kind of same.
Yeah, or at least try to understand him. I don't think they. But I don't. That was DC. I don't think they quite had the level of warmth with the Joker.
Okay.
Accomplished with Cruella. You know what I mean?
Okay.
That one I fully feel, and tell me how you felt, but I fully felt like I was supporting Cruella, not necessarily in like her hatred, but like certain things. But
in the movie,
I understood.
Cruella was definitely Emma Thompson in the movie.
Oh, you mean the actual villain was her mom? Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Spoiler alert, you guys.
Well, so
even though
I think it really wasn't. That could be your own, the way that you interpret it. But since we're on the topic of Cruella, how did you guys feel about the soundtrack of that?
Well, I will say that that the soundtrack. Now, I wasn't very pleased necessarily with the soundtrack. Like, I don't even think I would listen to it just because I appreciated just the score, like the music that was used in the movie in general. Like, all the songs that they had were just amazing songs, and the way that they used it was great. But to listen to it on its own, probably won't. Like, you know. But I mean, just they took a lot of music from the 70s, which was pretty much the era of the movie. But it was just like,
but they also
so much
go ahead,
mystery. Yeah, like the mystery of it, the music, this like I think what I enjoyed about it was that there was this sense of like mystery and suspense in the movie, and the music like really helped set the tones.
And you know, they also like mixed R&B. They had a little bit of pop. They had some punk music in there. So they mixed all of them. They combined all of them together and created that film soundtrack. So that's kind of, you know, what made the scenes powerful.
Yeah.
To me, it kind of like progressed because like maybe it's just because I like a lot of rock and roll and punk music, so it like internally it did something for myself. But I feel like her metamorphosis as a person from Emma Stone being like a young girl into growing up into Cruella was like, she listened to all this kind of like generic 70s rock, and then it became more like, for the sake of the movie, hardcore punk. And so it was like her being like more heart-shelled. I feel like the movie took on her mood and her metamorphosis as a human being. I really liked that, like about the music they chose. It was kind of generic 70s, early 80s music, but I liked the way they placed it.
But remember the scene where like the song Bloody Well Right, where I didn't realize the song was about generally like the phoniness of like being in school and all of that. But it was perfect because it was just like, oh, wow. Like I've heard this song before, but I never really listened.
I felt like you got inside her head with the soundtrack.
Yes, that's it.
With
that's
her
it.
Music and with her art, it kind of showed her, you know, wherever her mindset was, how she was growing. And for a person who felt, again, there's tons of spoilers here if you guys haven't seen it, but come on, it's been out for a while now, so spoilers. But I thought it was beautiful that the music got progressively more
dark,
explosive as she started to expand.
Yeah, they said it was like more so of a kind of like a rebellious attitude, so that music was kind of fitting that.
Very confined, and so more and more you saw the music just expand until they're literally in a scene where they have a fashion show and it's full on punk in your face moment.
I love that. I thought it was musically, it was a really cool progression, especially for Disney, who's like super wealthy and they could have done anything they wanted.
they literally have.
They literally could have
all
done
of our monies. They do.
They do.
I mean, I have a subscription to Disney Plus. Disney has all our money.
Yeah.
I was gonna try to name all the different things that they now own, and I was like, no, we'll be here all night. That's a different.
Yep, we sure will.
Another monopoly is Kill Bill.
Ooh.
Wasn't your best, but good one. Thanks.
Yes, y'all. Now that film, so that
Volume 1 versus Volume 2 or both? That I want to know.
no.
Yeah.
So Volume 1, I will say.
Yeah, but because seriously, it's literally just Volume 1 instead of Volumes 1 and 2. What about the first one struck you the most? I think I have a feeling based on what you said before, but
Okay. Well, in terms of the movie, because one, I seen again a women lead, and like kung fu, karate, all of that.
And
like,
that was amazing.
Yeah, so that's number one. I think like just seeing the women fighting and everything, it does something to me, because personally I love kung fu. I love Bruce Lee. I'm a huge Bruce Lee fan. So, I gravitated to that in general. But then secondly, the fact that RZA from Wu-Tang was like the one of the main people to help produce the soundtrack and help with the scores of it, as well. Like Quentin Tarantino, like he just has a funky style anyway. So like, I mean, I think those were the three components.
And this was the number one soundtrack of all.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes,
is it a key
on the Billboard charts? It was number one.
So what was your favorite?
What was that?
Oh no. Okay.
Is she frozen?
A little bit.
I got it.
Okay, there you go.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah. Gotcha now.
Okay, so it's the one where like Twisted Nerve, where it's like and then it goes, and then it like elevates or escalates into this really hard horror thing. So that, I love that one. And then of course the one where it was like woo-hoo, woo-hoo, and that they use in the commercials all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yes, I know that.
So it takes on a different element. When I heard it, I was like, oh, I can't hear this anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. It's so true. Yeah.
So are you ladies
fun
about anything that is coming out that is not out yet, that you're excited about, the soundtrack or the music around it or anything?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
I just made that up.
Aretha.
Oh yes. Go ahead, Danny. You right on point, girl. That's why we best friends. I forgot all about Aretha coming out. Respect. Come on.
Oh, I'm so excited about that. Sorry. Continue.
Yes.
She almost flew out of her seat for that one. I had to come get her. I said, wait.
Yes.
It does look really good.
Yes.
I think the thing with that is like, I want to see Jennifer Hudson, I want to see her again. Ever since Dreamgirls, I mean, she did amazing in Dreamgirls, but I want to see her again. But I also want to compare because, of course, Cynthia Erivo? She also did the Aretha Franklin movie as well. So, in comparison, I would, because she has a beautiful voice.
She does. She really
beautiful.
does.
So, like, I would like to compare the two. So I'm anticipating that.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I agree.
I keep seeing the commercial for that. I was like, I cannot wait. That and Serena, but that's different. We won't even.
Serena.
That's not music. We'll see. We'll see what it does, but. Yeah, that's a whole different conversation.
What about you, ladies?
I can't think of anything. I just asked that question spontaneously. There's a lot of movies that I'm looking forward to, but I can't think of anything right now, honestly.
That's what they come here for. Is this the random? No, mine were the same though, Danny.
My favorite movie sorry if I forgot to, I'm adding this, but is with Bette Midler. And she was best friends, and she singing Under the Boardwalk, Under the Sea. Yeah. I mean, I love Bette Midler. So,
Beaches?
Beaches.
Yes, it is. I love that scene. So I felt so akin to that movie. Breathe. Because I only liked it because we were talking about how we were younger and we only liked a movie to a certain point. I did only like it till when they got older. Like
that's why I said not when it's older, because it's the best friends, but you really feel that.
And they did the photo booth.
Yes.
Oh, I loved it. I know.
Oh, this is so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's cracking me up so much.
What
you guys are so excited about Beach
because nobody knows my plight.
I love it. I know your life because we're twins. So
Yes.
I know. And I knew you would like Beaches. I knew it.
I know. I love it. Okay, so we're totally gonna do karaoke.
Oh my
And
God.
the songs we're gonna sing are going to be our own extra. I don't even know. I'm not even gonna make excuses for us right now, but it's
Is what it's gonna be.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is.
I'm here for it though.
Yes, me too.
I'm ready.
I'm glad I have her.
Well,
Okay.
no, you guys have been amazing. We can literally talk movies with you guys any and all the time.
I think so.
So
Yeah.
not cool in music, but that's the reason why we had you here, because we just adore you guys. But yes, we're gonna give a few plugs for everybody listening so you can check them out, especially definitely listen to that first season because that was the one that got me hooked.
Yes.
Check out Overly Obsessed, available on all major podcast streaming platforms including Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Also, please do visit their website at www.doobierepsduo.net to get to know more about the ladies and their BFF status.
Yes.
And there you can find more information about their services and things that are coming up as well. Make sure you subscribe to their YouTube channel, their podcast, and they have new content every Monday.
Yes.
Is there anything you guys want to plug that's like coming up or new episode that you guys are excited about?
We're always excited for every episode.
Look at this one. Well,
Where can they find you on Facebook, Instagram, and all of the good things?
Yeah. Well, ironically, we have pretty cool themes for each of our seasons, and this season, ironically, is called Behind the Scenes. So it's super ironic that we're talking about movies. But
yes.
I love
this season we're all about like the people playing the background of our great front runners and artists. So but you got to tap in to see exactly what we're talking about. But just follow us on our IG at the OOUUPod. That's OOUUPod. And that's it.
So much.
I think you like it.
Oh yeah, a little bit Trixie Katya vibe, but it's fun and it's true because that's how I feel about music that I really love.
And it's musical. Your podcast name is musical.
Yes,
and it's so funny you said it because that's kind of like what we aim for too. If you notice, any songs that we try to use for promo, we try to, not even try. Ironically, the songs always have like ooh in it.
Yeah.
So it's just super easy.
It's easy. So we be like, ooh.
You're so freaking cute.
Please check out their IG Live. They're also they're amazing, incredible bomb selves there too. And I love watching them there. And yes, we just love you guys. Thank you guys for
being here. We love you guys too. Thank you so much.
So freaking amazing.
The vibe is always amazing. It's great. Love it.
I know.